You can be in a full room and feel completely alone. You can scroll through hundreds of faces, answer a dozen messages, sit in an open office surrounded by people, and still feel a hollow ache somewhere under your ribs. A quiet sense that no one is really there. We are told this is a modern problem, a failure of willpower. That if you feel lonely in a connected world, the fault is yours. That you should just reach out, log off, get over it. But that emptiness is not a character flaw, and it is not new. It is one of the oldest alarms your body owns, and it is warning you about something that, for almost all of human history, was the beginning of dying. So why do you feel so alone, even when you are never truly by yourself?
Here is what we are told about loneliness. It is a personal failing. Strong, independent people are fine on their own, and if solitude leaves you aching, you are too needy, too soft, too dependent on others to feel whole. We are sold the idea that the self-sufficient individual is the natural human state, and that needing people is a weakness to be outgrown. But look at the actual record of how humans lived, and that story falls apart. For hundreds of thousands of years, before cities and walls and private bedrooms, no healthy person spent their days alone. They could not. To be a lone human on the ancient landscape was not freedom or peace, it was an emergency, a state your body was built to escape as fast as possible. The longing you feel when you are isolated is not a defect in you. It is an ancient instinct doing exactly what it evolved to do. And to understand it, you have to picture a world where being alone was simply not survivable.
Imagine a single human, by themselves, on the open plain 100,000 years ago. No walls, no locked door, no one to take the next watch while you sleep. You cannot stay awake forever, and the night is full of things with better eyes and sharper teeth than you. You cannot bring down large game alone. You cannot carry enough, you cannot defend a kill, and if you fall sick or break a leg, there is no one to bring you water or food. A lone human was almost nothing, and everyone knew it. So your ancestors lived the opposite way, packed tightly together from birth to death. They slept piled in a heap for warmth and safety, bodies touching, taking turns to wake. They foraged in groups, walked in groups, ate in groups, raised children in a tangle of shared hands. For your entire life, you were almost never out of sight or earshot of other people. Solitude was not relaxation. It was the rarest and most dangerous state there was, usually a sign that something had gone terribly wrong, that you had been separated, lost, or cast out. And so evolution did something it does with every threat that matters this much. It built an alarm. The neuroscientist John Cacioppo spent his career studying loneliness and argued that it is exactly that, a biological signal, evolved like hunger or thirst or pain. Hunger drives you to find food before your body fails. Loneliness drives you back toward other people before isolation can kill you. The ache is not weakness. It is the same kind of survival warning as a growling stomach, pointed at a need just as real. This is why the need for other people runs as deep as the need to eat. The psychologists Roy Baumeister and Mark Leary called it the need to belong, and argued it is not a preference but a fundamental human drive, every bit as hunger. We are obligately social animals, built to live inside a web of close relationships, and we feel genuine pain when that web frays. And this is not just a feeling. When social connection is stripped away for long enough, the body itself begins to break down. The researcher Julianne Holt-Lunstad gathered together studies tracking hundreds of thousands of people and found that weak social connection raises your risk of early death on a scale comparable to smoking and greater than obesity or never exercising at all. Chronic loneliness drives up stress hormones, inflames the body, wears down the immune system, and quietly shortens your life. Think about how strange that is. A feeling, an emotional ache with no fang and no claw behind it, measurably ages you. Because your body treats prolonged isolation as a true threat to survival, the same way it treats a wound or a famine. And for nearly all of human history, it was exactly that kind of threat. The restlessness you feel after days alone, the low gray mood, the way an empty home can start to feel heavy and too quiet, the urge to call someone, anyone, just to hear a voice, all of it is this ancient system doing its oldest job, registering that you have drifted from the group and pushing hard to pull you back before the drift becomes dangerous. It cannot tell the difference between a modern empty apartment and an ancient human stranded alone on the open plain. To the alarm, they are the same emergency, and it responds with the same old urgency it always has. So if we are surrounded by more people and more connection than ever, why is loneliness now described as an epidemic? Because the world that alarm was built for has quietly vanished, even as the crowds grew larger. Your loneliness system evolved for one small band of familiar faces, people you slept beside, foraged with, and knew your whole life. It was satisfied not by contact in general, but by deep, constant physical co-presence, the felt sense of being held inside a group that needed you. Now you can live among millions and never be truly known by any of them. You sleep alone behind a locked door, work among strangers, and carry a device that floods you with faces and voices while leaving you physically untouched. You have endless, shallow contact and almost none of the deep, woven closeness the alarm is actually asking for. So it keeps firing in the middle of the crowd because the crowd is not the band, and some ancient part of you can tell the difference.
This is what the modern epidemic of loneliness really is, an ancient survival alarm built to keep a social animal inside its band, going off in a world full of people who are not your band. The hollow feeling in a packed room, the ache of an evening alone with a glowing screen, the strange emptiness after hours of messaging that somehow leaves you hungrier than before. None of that is weakness or ingratitude. It is the belonging system, designed for deep, continuous co-presence, being fed a thin stream of likes and notifications that can never quite satisfy it. And this is exactly what makes those screens so hard to put down. Every ping promises the thing your body is starving for, the reassurance that the group still wants you. So you reach for it again and again, taking small empty sips when what the alarm demands is real, present, embodied connection. We are not weak for feeling lonely in a crowd. We are social animals shaped by 100,000 years of never being alone, set down in a world that surrounds us with people while starving us of the closeness our bodies were built to need. The loneliness is not a malfunction. It is an accurate report from an ancient instinct that knows the crowd is not the band. So the next time the loneliness rises in you, even in a room full of people, do not be ashamed of it and do not call yourself weak. Listen to what it is telling you. That ache is one of the oldest and most honest things about you. A message handed down from ancestors for whom being alone was not solitude but danger, and the band was life itself. You did not invent the hunger for other people, and you do not fail by feeling it. You inherited it whole from a world where you were born into a tangle of bodies and never once spent a day truly alone, where the warmth of the group at night was the only thing between you and the dark. The empty room is not dangerous now. You will be fine tonight whether anyone calls or not. But the ancient alarm does not know that, and it is only doing what it has always done, pulling you back toward the others. Because for 10,000 generations, being together was the only way to stay alive.